Hi everyone, welcome back to Nestled and Vintage. Today I am going to be working on these heart pictures. They're plates that are in a frame. And I thrifted these over the summer. They might be in one of my thrift haul videos. But I'm very excited to finally get to make these over. All right, so the frames are all cleaned, and these are plastic or resin frames. They're not wood. And so today I'm going to be using the Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Magnolia. Okay, so I have 2 coats of Dixie Belle Magnolia paint on the heart frames, and I'm letting that dry. Now I have this wooden recipe box. It needs a little bit of help, so I'm going to go ahead and clean that up. Okay, I'm going to start off by giving it a coat of the Dixie Belle Magnolia also. So while I have the Dixie Belle Magnolia out, I'm going to go ahead and paint this long, it's almost like a primitive style basket, but I'm going to go ahead and paint it with the Dixie Belle Magnolia and see if I can give it a little bit different look. So I'll be doing probably a couple coats of paint on this. Okay, so both coats of paint have dried, and I put the plates back in. I really like them. I think they look much better than they did before, but I think I'm going to take a baby wipe and just kind of distress the edges a little bit. I don't want very much of that color that's under there to come back, but I just want to see what it looks like. And if I don't like it, I can always repaint it. I actually thought about putting gold there, but I think I'm gonna like it this way better. So do you like the distressing, or do you like just the plain? Or maybe you would like the gold. I think I like the distressing, so I'm going to go ahead and do that on all 4 of these. Okay, so the recipe box has 2 coats of paint on it, and to start with, I am going to put a transfer on the top. This is one of my scrap pieces of transfer from Iron Orchid Designs. I think it was in one of the spring booklets from last year. And I'm just going to place that on there. Use my transfer stick that comes with each package. And just rub along the grid paper here. And I'm just going to lift up a corner. And just going to start transferring it down. Just rubbing it on. It's very easy to do. And I want my transfer to look just a little bit more aged, so I have some very fine grit sandpaper on here. It's actually 600, it says, on my little finger sander. And then I'm just going to lightly sand over the top, kind of like in a circular motion, to make it look a little bit more vintage. And I'm also just going to go around the edges of my wood recipe box and give that a sand just to distress it a little bit. Okay, so the recipe box is all sanded. Now I'm going to take some of the Voodoo Gel Stain in the Au Naturel, and I'm going to try to highlight the recipe, the words, the recipe part on here I'm going to see if I can highlight that. And it'll give it a little bit of aged look also. But let's see if this works. Let me try to wipe it back a little bit. So the paint is dry on the basket, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of the Voodoo Gel stain on the basket too, just to try to give it a little bit more dimension. This time I'm putting it on a paper towel first, and I'm just going to lightly rub it on the basket just to see if I can give it some dimension. Yeah, it's just lightly going on there. I like that. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more. It kind of goes in the basket weave, so it kind of highlights the top ones, but the underneath ones are still the magnolia color. I like the way that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that. I'm going to go all the way around the basket. Okay, for the recipe box, I want the letters to be just a little bit darker. So I'm taking some of the Fusion wax in the color Espresso, and I'm just going to try to put it where the wording is. And see, I don't want it real dark, but I want it to be darker than what it is. Yes, this is so much better. I like it. And what I'm going to do is I have a little bit left on my paper towel, and I'm just going to, so it kind of blends in, I'm just going to kind of rub this wax all over the rest of the piece so it will blend in nicely. And it will also help seal the transfer that is on the top. Okay, and for this project, I have this little rolling pin. It is a newer rolling pin, but it does have the red handles, and I thought that was really cute. And I got out the Velveteen stamp. I really enjoyed this stamp, and you know, sometimes we get our new items and we kind of forget about some of the older ones. Although this isn't old, I think it came out last spring, but I love these mini stamps. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of the Dixie Belle Magnolia on my stamp, and I am going to put that on the rolling pin. Okay, so I have my paint on the stamp. Hopefully I have enough paint on there. And what I'm going to do, it's about the same width as the rolling pin. So I'm just going to start down here at the bottom, and I'm going to roll my rolling pin. I think I should go this way. It seems to roll better this way. And I'm just going to roll my rolling pin on my stamp and see how this comes out. It's not bad. I have a little section right here, so I'm just going to take that section and just lay it down right there to get just a little bit more of the stamp on there. It's not bad. Maybe I had too much paint on there. I'm not for sure. Let me think about it for a little bit and see if I want to leave it like this. Okay, so I decided I didn't like it. And before the paint dries totally, I'm just taking a baby wipe and I'm trying to wipe the paint off. And it's actually giving it like a whitewash effect on the rolling pin. And then I'm going to decide what I want to do. So I got all my paint off my stamp, and I'm going to try again. I'm going to try with the same color. I left my stamp a little bit wet. Maybe that might help, or it might not. We'll see. And this time I'm going to brush my paint on here. Last time I was just using like a paper towel, but this time I'm going to kind of brush it on here, and as you can see, my stamp is still wet. This could be good or this could be bad. I don't know. We will see. But I'm hoping that maybe I get like a tone on tone effect. Okay. Okay, so this is what the rolling pin looks like. As you can see, I didn't get all of the paint off, but that's okay. We're gonna try again for this tone on tone effect and see what happens. So I'm just gonna roll it on here. And see how I like this. Okay, this is not working either. That is too wet. So don't try that. Okay, so I'm going to try this again. And this time I'm going to put the paint on the stamp with a brayer and see what I think about that. See if that will help. With the stamping. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna go this way. Just gonna roll it on there. Okay, this is much better. Okay, I should have remembered that from the beginning, that I need to put the paint on with a brayer. And I still have that little bit of area right there, so I'm just going to roll it just a little bit right there. And hopefully that will take care of that little area. Okay. I'm fine with that. This is much better, and I like the tone on tone. So don't do all those things that I just did, but maybe try to put your paint on your stamp with a brayer. I hope you enjoyed the video today. And did you have a favorite project that I worked on today? I really like them all. I like the transformation of all of them. I'm very happy with the rolling pin that I didn't give up on it. And hopefully you learned from me not to do a couple of those things that I did, but try the brayer and the paint on your stamp. That seemed to work out really well. I really like the way that looks. And I like the basket transformation also. Thank you so much for watching the video today, and I hope you have a great day.